Hello, I'm Tony and today we are in a Tim Burton-esque world in Tandem, A Tale of Shadows. A puzzle platformer free from Prime Gaming until the 26th of June 2023. In this game you control two characters, 10-year-old Emma and Fenton the teddy bear. And you are wandering around a massive mansion in the search for a missing boy, Thomas. Now this game starts with cutscenes that genuinely impressed me. They're 3D rendered, but they switch into a 3D in-game cutscene, but still pretty nice, and it then morphs into a top-down view. I can't be sure, but it does seem like this is like a fixed camera view of those 3D graphics, since when you finish a level, the camera seamlessly moves from your top-down view to zoom into your Alice in Wonderland style Emma grabbing the crystal that you just found. It feels like an odd choice, but there's a certain style to the graphics, a feeling of solidity, which works really well. I do think my PC would have coped much better with sprites though. Even at the lowest settings, this just about run okay. Even then, I still had some slowdown issues. It is pretty though, and also pretty weird. Beyond the fact that your companion is a sentient teddy bear, the world itself is also pretty odd, with imaginative and often creepy visuals. The giant Jack-in-the-Box was a great example, nice and unsettling, good job. And on top of that, the music box style soundtrack and sound effects straight out of a horror movie set in a child's nursery. This generates fantastic atmosphere for the game. Talking of which, the gameplay. As I said, you control Emma and the teddy bear, and you need to switch between them in order to solve the puzzles. Fenton, the teddy bear, occupies a strange sort of parallel world where shadows provide solid footing that he can walk on, and also get blocked by. Emma, in what passes for the real world, has a lantern that can cast shadows, and your aim across all of the 45 levels is to get Fenton to a crystal. Obviously teamwork between the two is essential, often requiring Emma to cast a shadow for Fenton to walk on, where he can then stand on the switch maybe, which opens up access to a new part of the level for Emma. Most of the time spent with Fenton is relatively simple platforming. In later levels there's several puzzles that require pretty precise timing, accurate controller use and swapping between the two characters. So for those that struggle with that, you might want to give this one a miss. There wasn't a lot of leeway in the timings, and there aren't any difficulty setting or options to skip that I could see. Some of the timing puzzles include mechanical spiders that might be close enough to the real thing that arachnophobes might have problems here, so bear that in mind. But they are really nicely animated and they chase you down and wrap you up into a cocoon, which is done in such a cool looking scene. A really nice touch there. Anytime you fail, you instantly reset back to pretty generous checkpoints, so trying out new solutions to a puzzle has very little friction, which encourages experimentation, which is always nice in a puzzle game. That's pretty much the game. As with all games of the genre, the puzzles are the key element. As you'd expect, the puzzles get more complicated as you progress, and many of them are really fun to solve. New mechanics are constantly being introduced that keeps things fresh, but unfortunately the game hasn't quite grabbed me. I'm honestly not sure why. It might be the style of the puzzle, but I think it might be a little bit of the repetitive nature of a fair number of the levels. The game is structured into chapters, each with like 8 or 9 levels, and the first few levels in a chapter to me feel like they go back to basic, more simple puzzles with simpler solutions, which might be where I'm feeling the repetition. Now this is after 3 hours of play and probably about 70% of the game completed, which is where I'm going to leave it. I don't think I'm finishing it. I don't want to give too negative an impression here though. The puzzle mechanics are novel to me, are implemented really cleverly, and it's such a good game to look at. It's so engaging, and for the first couple of hours I was really enjoying the experience. It's only later on that I started to just lose interest, basically. For those that enjoy collectibles, there are secrets hidden throughout the levels, none of which I've seen, so they do need a bit of exploration to find, which gives you a secondary goal when the puzzles feel repetitive or easy. Just not quite something that appeals to me. Having said that, I do recommend this to puzzle fans. It's worth taking a look at the shadow making mechanics, and it might work better for you than it did for me. I think it's just a personal preference thing, and of course there's no better time to try games like this than when it's free. Definitely worth grabbing, I think. Now I'm done talking with shadow obsessed teddy bears. 2 is too many for me, so I'm off. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Goodbye.